What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with DFS bringing you a brand new video. Today's video going over Week 3's Thursday Night Showdown on DraftKings and Fanduel. If you're new to the channel, basically just put the prices in on both sites and then go over the matchup. That way it's simpler. We don't have to go back and forth, and you can kind of see the difference in pricing and where players are. So if one night you're very high on someone like Garrett Wilson, based off of the prices, he's cheaper on FanDuel than DraftKings, right? He's the fourth highest on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's the third, right? So examples like that, Braylon Allen in this one, he's 10K on FanDuel. Antonio Gibson, 11.5. So stuff like that is where we get the differences and why I do it this way. So both running backs are definitely likes for me in this matchup. I think it's got a 38.5 total. Neither team really has found success in the pass game so far this season. There's been times when, kind of on the Jets side, New England, besides Hunter Henry last week, Polk maybe a little bit, Osborne a little bit, but nothing really crazy on either side for now. And we get two defensive teams in this one. So, I like Brees. I like Ramondre at their prices. Ramondre still used in the pass game quite a bit. Brees still used in every way. But on this slate, I'm going to target both these guys to where even the matchups against running backs, both teams play running backs pretty well. The two things, New England missing some defensive linemen and some offensive linemen. One of them hasn't played. And on the Jets side, Jermaine Johnson, unfortunately, tore his Achilles. CJ Mosley has not practiced at all this week. So if CJ Mosley's out, that's a huge hit for the Jets. So all that injury news we're watching for. So, you're watching offensive linemen on New England pretty much. And then on the Jets, you're watching for CJ Mosley. Garrett Wilson in this one. This one's tough, right? He's going to see a good amount of Christian Gonzalez, but I think overall, Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard are Aaron Rodgers' top two targets. So even in the red zone, Garrett Wilson is the top target. So I want Garrett Wilson in this one. I think if this game is close, Aaron Rodgers is going to rely upon Garrett Wilson in this matchup. Patriots have a good secondary with the Joneses and Gonzalez, but I still think Garrett Wilson can come out on top. Both quarterbacks are a fade for me in this one. I just don't see where, unless one of them has a really game-changing game, I don't see either one being optimal. Granted, you're getting them at discounts. Jacoby Brissett is 9K on DraftKings and 12.5 on FanDuel. That is ridiculous for a starting quarterback. So, pricing wise, and if CJ Mosley is out, then Jacoby Brissett could be playable there. But Aaron Rodgers against New England, that's a tough one as a whole. Hunter Henry, I just think he's priced too high, especially on DraftKings. FanDuel, I don't mind it at 11, but I think he's just really high priced. CJ Mosley's got to be out for me to get some exposure to Hunter Henry. Mike Williams, also a fade on tonight's slate. And when I say fade, I don't mean like I'm getting zero ownership if I'm doing 150 lines. But I'm gonna want to be lower on the field than on these guys than others. Others I'm going to be higher than the field. So that's kind of why I have it as a fade. Not to confuse you and just say, hey, I'm not playing these guys at all, but I'm going to be lower. Mike Williams just has not done anything. He's been their third guy. He gets on the field. He just doesn't get any targets. We haven't seen it. I just think, especially on DraftKings, he's way too expensive. FanDuel makes sense, right? Allen Lazard is more expensive. The Jets and Patriots are the same as them, but the Jets are more expensive. Braylon Allen's more expensive. Antonio Gibson's more expensive. So, Mike Williams on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, he's more expensive than all these guys and hasn't really done much. Allen Lazard's been the other red zone target after Garrett Wilson. So, Allen Lazard is number 2 for me. Their Jets defense, even though in my opinion, they've kind of underperformed with how talented they are, and they're without Jermaine Johnson. I still think it's a really good matchup for the Jets defense, and it should be really hard for the Patriots to pass against them. Braylon Allen, I mentioned, he's just too expensive on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's up there in price, more expensive than the Kickers and Patriots defense. But the way he was used last week, we could see some value in return, but it's still risky at that price point for a back. He's a backup running back, and there's no nice way to say it, right? I think Braylon Allen's going to be an incredible talent, but in this slate with Breece Hall healthy, Braylon Allen's just too much. Both kickers then become playable. Jets defense, really good, only 33% allowed scores. So I like the Jets, or Joey Sly, the New England kicker, against the Jets in this one. And Greg Zuerlein, just for how the Jets' offenses had been in the red zone. Patriots still under 50% on scores allowed. So both kickers playable. Patriots defense I still think is playable. Obviously missing some linebackers, but this is a defensive game, right? They've gotten to Joey Burrow. They made things at times difficult for Geno Smith, so play good against the run. It's just not good against wide receivers. So other than that, I like the Patriots defense. Demario Douglas on FanDuel is a value for me at 7,500. He's under that 8K, so he's a value. He's gotten the most snaps out of all the receivers on New England. Granted, the targets haven't been there as much, and it's a tough matchup for him, but for his price point, he's kind of the guy I would target for New England pass catchers. Antonio Gibson, just too expensive, right? I mentioned Braylon Allen, but Antonio Gibson's 11.5, so he's more than Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, Allen Lazard, the defenses, the kickers. He's just too much. He would have to get a lot of receiving work in this matchup for that to pay off. I just think he's mispriced. Tyler Conklin is a value at 2,800 on DraftKings, 8K on FanDuel. And that being, I mentioned New England's down a couple linebackers. Kind of like that for Tyler Conklin. It's not the greatest matchup. Kyle Duggar kind of gave up quite a bit of yards too, so him helping the linebackers cover somebody. I like Tyler Conklin. I think he's a good pivot play off of the other pass catchers for the Jets. If you're fading both Mike Williams and Allen Lazard and you just want to go Garrett Wilson, Tyler Conklin is very cheap to get to there as well. And then there's no one else really. Yeah, you could throw dart throws. Tyquan Thornton getting a big catch. Austin Hooper kind of stealing, maybe a touchdown from Hunter Henry. KJ Osborne getting on the field, 7,500 on FanDuel. Like all these guys, it's just under 3K or under 8K. So Jalen Polk doesn't really hit that on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's at 8K. But this is a defensive matchup. I'm going to want more exposure to kickers and the defenses than normal. So I'm going to play lower on these guys as well. They're not fully fades, right, because of their price points, but they're kind of neutral, right? If I get them above, I get them above. If I get them below, I get them below the field and just play it off of that. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys want any of my position plays for the main slate, or if you guys want bets, props, ask any questions at any time, the link for our Discord will be in the description down below. Appreciate the support that I've gotten so far this season. It's been amazing. Hope to continue to bring content out for you guys all year, and hope you guys enjoy it. And I will see you in the next one.